So now we've gone through everything we need to do to get to our final sequence. Let's now go ahead and add this composition to our render queue to generate a final file. So to do this, with your composition selected, head up to Composition and Add to Render Queue. Within this dialog box, you'll find multiple different things you can click on, such as Render Settings, Output Module and Output 2. Let's start with Output 2, and this is where we're going to save our file. So I've already set up where I want my file to go to, and I'm just going to call it Final Comp. Then underneath Output Module, this is where we select all of our rendering settings. So let's click on Lossless now, and we'll go through a few of the things we can change. First of all, it's our format and our post-render action. So for post-render action, that's going to be set to none, and for format, I'm going to change that to QuickTime. And then under format options here is just where we can change our codec. So I'm going to click on format options and change the video codec to ProRes 422 rather than animation. There are lots of other options that you could do here, including AVI, MP3 for just exporting your music, a PNG sequence. So just like in things like Premiere and Photoshop, you've got your alternatives here. So I can click OK once I'm happy with all of this, and then all I'd have to do is hit render just on this right hand side to generate that final file. But let's show you one other way in which you can render out your final video. Just delete that from our render queue, head back to the composition, and this time we're going to add it to the Adobe Media Encoder queue instead. So let's click that. So here we go, a new dialog box has opened up in Media Encoder. It's showing us that it's a composition 1. So again, this is our output. I'm sure a lot of you will already be familiar with Media Encoder, so we'll just go through it quickly. We can click on our output destination here. Again, change the title, change where we want it to go to, click our folder, and then H.264 works for me at a high bit rate, and then I'll simply hit the go button to start the render queue going. And here we go. And that is already exported, so let's head to where we've saved it to in our exports, Final Comp, play it back. There we go. Our final video all rendered out, ready for final use. There are a few other settings that you might want to be aware of when you're rendering your footage out. So let's head to our render queue again and click on Lossless. And as you can see, the video output here, it's set to RGB. Now if you're wanting to render something out with a transparent background, like we saw in previous tutorials, you need to change your channel to RGB plus alpha. Now that can only happen when you have a certain codec selected. So if I choose a QuickTime codec, I'm unable to check RGB plus alpha. So as always, ensure that you speak with your clients, speak with your producers, and understand exactly what's needed for your final render before going ahead and rendering out your final file. Thanks for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed this After Effects tutorial series.